Piggybacking off of my last video about Kyrie Irving being able to not take the COVID vaccine, over the weekend, Southwest Airlines had a significant amount of cancellations, and we're going to get into the real why. And this is speculation, but at the end of the day, if I pee on your leg and tell you it's raining, it's really urine on your daggone ankles. So we're going to get straight into it. My name is D-Rel. This is Rel's Rants Reloaded. If you can like, subscribe, and share, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, pretty much. It happened about 2 months ago with Spirit Airline, and then it happened this weekend with Southwest Airline. A whole bunch of cancellations over the weekend. And a lot of this is going on because there is a mandate across all of the airlines, Spirit, Delta, Southwest, Frontier, United, American, that employees of these companies, of these airline companies, have to get vaccinated. Again, this kind of coincides with my last video. And if you want to know what that is, that's the Kyrie Irving video, him not getting vaccinated and he can't play. It's the video I made prior to this. I'll leave a link in the description for that video. But what it all boils down to is money. And when I say it boils down to money, it boils down to money and having options. Just like I said, Kyrie Irving is a millionaire, multi-millionaire. He is a professional basketball player. These pilots are professional pilots. Most of these pilots flew in some sort of military, whether it's the Air Force, the Navy, the Army. They have flown with these branches of military for years and then retired. And then most of the time when they retire, they transfer over to the commercial sector and work for a Delta, a Spirit, because they have everything that they need. Mind you, these pilots start off with about $100,000 plus a year. Up to, I looked on Google and it said something between around $120,000 to the high end, $700,000 a year. That's going all the way in, working the system, working the game, getting whatever flights or routes you can. I don't know the logistics or the language of how they do it. Most people in the aviation arena will, but at the end of the day, if you go all in, you can make you a grip. Now, you got to see it from the spectrum of a business standpoint. If you are a pilot working for a Delta, a Spirit, a Southwest, and you've been doing this for 20 some odd years, you making just say on a low end, you're making $150,000 a year for 20 years. Most of the time you're in a position where if there's some sort of mandate that's going on and you don't agree with it, you can opt out to fly those daggone planes. And what happened 2 months ago with all those Spirit Airlines and all these other airlines, because it was Spirit Airlines, there was a couple of other airlines that had a whole bunch of cancellations. And they said it was a mechanical problem on the software end of the airline. Then they say it was weather. Then they say it was this, and they say it was that. I think they pretty much all came together and say, you know what? We're taking a weekend off. And we're going to have to let them know that without us, there is no them. These jobs are not something that you could just go to a daggone temp agency or learn by following somebody. You have to go through years of rigorous training and put in hours and do certain things. So at the end of the day, if there's nobody to fly the plane, there's nobody to fly the plane. And that's what we're seeing. And I think that's what we saw this weekend. And then you have to look from a broader scope. All of these airline companies are publicly traded companies. So when shit like this happens, the stock price goes down. And you don't want a speculation or a rumor that you have pilots that are literally, they're not going on strike, because if they go on strike, it would have to deal with unions and all type of marching and all this, that, and the third. What they did was take a day off. All of them. I've seen this happen at jobs when people get pissed off at management and they're like, you know what? They act like they don't need us. They act like they don't respect us. We're going to take a day off. They did it with Spirit. I know they did it with Spirit, and they're doing it with Southwest. And they were like, you know what? Not coming in. Y'all want to get home? Do it your damn self. At the end of the day, the coronavirus is real. I've had it. A lot of people had it. People want to feel, people don't want to be forced to do something they don't want to do. People have their own opinions and own views and own religions. And at this point in time, things are not being respected. And a lot of things are being put in place where the agenda is being forced and hands are being forced. I said this in my other video. Let's compare a pilot to somebody that is a baggage handler that handles the bags, or somebody that is one of the people that drive around the airport and get the elderly people and drive them around. Whatever they're making might be on the low end. I'm not saying it's like $14, $15. It could be even $25 an hour, $26 an hour, $30 an hour. Compare that to what the pilots are making, and then compare that to what the pilots do. See, everybody under the pilot is replaceable. You could replace a flight attendant. You could replace somebody that's going to clean the plane. You could replace the people that put the bags in the plane. You could replace those people. In a lot of situations, people like that that been down for a couple of years, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, and they've been working, building up a 401k, getting their raises and bonuses every year, getting their stock options. Those type of people are liabilities to the company, especially when we live in a world post-COVID when flying wasn't as accessible as it usually is and wasn't making as money as it usually was. So if these companies wanted to do an audit, they would look at where could we cut budgets at. This person been here 20 years, he's making 60 grand, but if we bring somebody else in to do his job new, we could get them in at 30. That's how these companies think. And I'm telling people that, look, we have to rethink our options when it comes to making money. There's nothing wrong with a job, but at the end of the day, the business will always look after the business first, not the people that run it. But in this situation, which is a very unique situation, the airlines, the airport, the airline companies, you can only have a pilot fly that plane. You need a pilot, you need a first officer, and you need an engineer. You can't pull these people off of the street. Somebody with a daggone a pilot's license that fly one of those little charter planes, not the jets, little one engine charter plane. They're not, most of those, I guarantee you, are not certified to fly a big commercial jet. And then you have to realize these pilots are responsible for the lives and the safety of everybody on that daggone ship. And I'm thinking a lot of them do not agree with the mandate that they are being forced to get vaccinated. So if they don't get vaccinated and they lose their job, the airline is going to lose pilots, which means the airline is going to lose money. How you going to operate an airline if you don't have people to fly the goddamn plane? It just makes sense. And I think that everybody's staying on code. This is not a news channel. This is Rants Reloaded. This is a rant channel. This is an opinion channel. But you have news outlets like Fox News, CNBC, local news. They kind of stay on code because they can't speculate. But like I said earlier, when I opened the video, if I pull my penis out and pee on your leg and tell you it's raining, it's not rain. In reality, it's urine. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. All of a sudden, you got a random mass calling out. Everybody's sick this weekend. What the hell just happened this weekend? Nothing. Nothing was going on this weekend that all these pilots called out. Like everybody got sick at one time. Come on, let's be honest. You're trying to force the hands of people. And then when you have people that are in a position of power, because these pilots are in a position of power. They're not like the regular working person. If the pilots all just called out, they're playing group economics. They're moving as one. They're moving as a unit. They don't need the pilots union to go to fight for them on their behalf. They're taking their own initiative to tell y'all and say, look, y'all got these mandates. By December 1st, you want everybody vaccinated. I don't believe in it. It's not going to be me. Like I said, these dudes are fucking rich as fuck. Imagine you making $150,000 to $300,000 a year on the low end for 20 years. Unless you got some outrageous daggone drug habit, you have money. Most of these dudes have money, have assets. And I'm not even going to say dudes. Dudes and females, male and female pilots. People don't believe in mandatory vaccinations. People want choice. And that's what America is supposed to be about. Choice, freedom, freedom of opportunity, freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom to say, I don't want to do this. But the way the world is going, post-Trump, going into Biden, they're putting people in situations where they're trying to force hands. And now it's going to backfire on them. Because at the end of the day, the rich are always going to get richer. The poor get poorer. You could force the poor into doing this shit. But when you have people that are in specific lines of work, you can't pull that bullshit. Like they're trying to do with the military, saying, okay, if the nurses and doctors don't want to get the mandated vaccine, they'll get fired and then they'll bring in the military to do the work. Are they going to do that with their airlines? Because at the end of the day, I don't know if they can. But they could do it with the medical field. I don't know if they could do it with the airlines and have pilots that are supposed to be piloting planes for the military, doing commercial flights and doing the daggone 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. back and forth from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, or Atlanta to Miami, or Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas. I don't think those resources can be pulled like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks, especially around Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving. I think that another strike or another global call out is going to happen around that weekend of Thanksgiving, and laws might have to, or mandates might have to be rethought. This is Rail's Rants Reloaded. I'm D-Rail. If you can, like, subscribe, share. I'll holla at y'all later. Peace.